Hi, I'm Jordan, and you're watching Lamb Chop's Chop Shop. Today, Sparta gets a really big upgrade. Alright, let's get this taken off. Hope y'all don't mind the camera angle. It's a little hard to get you in here, what with me being a bigger guy and all. But I think you should be able to see the gist of everything that I'm doing. If not, let me know and I'll move it. Alright, so the first thing we got to do to take the steering wheel off is there's two bolts on here that holds this horn pad on. My horn doesn't work. I'm not sure why. I'll have to figure that out later. But let's get this pulled off. I want to borrow you guys for a minute. I assume that side is loose. Let's get this one. Here's one screw. Did this side actually undo? No. Of course it didn't. Gotcha. All right, let's see if we can crank that bad boy off of there. Yeah, easier than I thought. What do you think? Think it'll pull right off? I don't. Who could have seen this coming? So, you'll notice on the steering wheel, there's this hole here and a hole here. That's to install the bolts for a wheel puller. Alright, so I've got my Harbor Freight wheel puller on here. And I've got it on there probably about the worst way possible. These holes right here are too far apart for the holes that are on the steering wheel. So these bolts go in there kind of like this. And I would hazard to guess that they're probably cross-threaded and they're pretty good. So yeah, it'll be fine. Oh yeah. There it is. That's one steering wheel down. So with my truck, I have an issue with my lock cylinder being really sticky when it's cold. And from what I understand, that's actually a pretty common issue with these F-150s. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of exploratory surgery in here to see if I can figure out maybe how I can fix that. At the same time, I'll show you how to replace your blinker cam at the same time. Mine doesn't work. Well, it does work, but when I click that way, it doesn't auto cancel. So mine's broken, so I'm just going to make sure I put that right back in there because I forgot to order one. Now, as a little disclaimer, especially to people who've done this before and they know what they're doing, I have not done this before and I do not know what I'm doing. But let's see what I can tear up. I assume this little piece must have to come out for something. I'll make sure I put that up there on the dash where I lose it. Alright, so I got tired of struggling trying to get this off using my needle nose pliers. There's a little detent in here for a wrench, so I went and grabbed the right tool, vice grips. Think. What else is holding you in? Oh, there's another screw there. I knew that. I was just seeing if you all were paying attention. So then this should just pull right on out, I think. So this right here, if you guys are replacing this, this is where, this is the point where you would actually do that. That thing is nasty and dirty. The whole thing is nasty and dirty. So we don't break this wire here. Let's go ahead and take this off. I don't know if that shaft is supposed to have that much play in it. Alright, looks like to get behind here, there's two bolts, or excuse me, two nuts right there that we gotta take off. Well, that should be easy. They were already loose. All right, so before you take these off, this plastic shroud needs to come off first, or those bolts are just gonna fall through. I'm learning this as you are, so blindly follow me as I work on my stuff. Just push that into there to get it out of the way. And if I'm correct, that should afford me access back here. Yep. All right, back to this. This one's already loose too. Now that I've done that, what's that mean? Oh yeah, this whole thing comes right off now, I hope. Hush. I'm gonna have this all taken apart. No idea how to put it back. All right, before I go any farther, I'm gonna unplug this from under there. That way when I can take this off, I can just take it all off, take it to the garage, and clean it. There you are. Well, that was way more in a pain in the ass than it had to be. I'll show you guys what I did. Right, this right here plugs into right there. And it's a pain in the ass to get apart, or at least it was for me. Now in theory, I should be able to take this off. Right here. I should be able to pull this all off as one unit, where I can clean it up and get all the schmutz and stuff off of it. I don't know if you can see what I was doing there, but right here, there's a hole that a pin in this will fit through, and you got to press that pin out before you can pull your lock cylinder out. Now, I just wish I knew what else was keeping that in there. Got it. Okay, so this tab right here, it goes onto this button here. I had to bend that up just a little bit so it would go over this part here. That's all goopy and nasty. I can understand maybe why that's not sliding very good. And if you're curious, this is what actually, when you turn your key, it's moving this right here, this bar. Like I could push this forward and start my truck just like that. A little bit of a lesson on how that works. The pin that's in the ignition cylinder, lock cylinder, is right here. And the key actually has to be in a certain spot before that pin will push up inside of it. Right there. You see, it has to be right in there before it'll actually push up inside. So if you're trying to pull this out too, and you can't, it's because you need to have your key turned to a certain position. Okay, whoops. You're not supposed to see that yet. Let's make some room here. Cool. For this part here, since it's got the electrical parts on it, I'm going to be using this electronic cleaner. We'll see how that does. For everything else, I'm just going to be using some brake parts cleaner. I don't know about you guys. I know every time I go into O'Reilly's, I usually pick up 2 cans of this because I seem like I go through a lot of it. Everything I own just has grease all over it. Let's start with this. Let's see how well this cleans up. Yeah, well, that's better than what it was. Now for this stuff, it's a lot grimier, and I don't think there's anything in here that's going to get hurt by brake parts cleaner. I guess we'll find out. Make sure before you use this stuff, make sure you got gloves on. This stuff's not good for you. Ow, my eye! Also wear eye protection. Greasy, greasy, greasy. Looking at this, I see a bunch of little pry marks on here. That's not suspicious at all. Garlic fries. Is it perfect? No. Will it work? Yeah, probably. Blow! So I've got these little hand wipes. They're specifically meant for like mechanics and stuff. So let's see if maybe if I just poke this in here, maybe it'll clean that up a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. Well, that's probably as good as it's going to get, at least for that piece. Good enough for me. Now, let's work on this piece. Oh, a little Proposition 65 warning for anyone in California. If you douse your hands in brake parts cleaner, it has been known to cause cancer in the state of California. It's also really cold. It's got some miles on her, but it'll work. Alright, let's blow it off. Noise. Also, if you don't already know, when you're blowing stuff off, make sure you don't put this right up against your hand, because you'll force that air under your skin, and I guarantee you're going to have a bad time if you do that. This part here, I guess we'll just clean it out with this too. That's probably a bad idea, but I'll let you know if it disintegrates. Yeah, I'm sure there's probably more correcter ways to clean this out, but I'll just do it this way. Fire! And of course we can't forget about little Billy bearing here. Poor little guy, so dirty, he hasn't been cleaned in years. So we're going to clean him out, and we're even going to go ahead and just repack him with a little bit of grease too. You can see why I go through a lot of brake parts cleaner. Oh, look at that. Instantly better. So I was thinking about just packing this with like some wheel bearing grease, but I think instead of doing that, I'm just going to put some of this white lithium grease in there. There we go. Alright, let's go get all this put back in. Alright, let's see if I can actually get this put back together. I debated with putting some type of a lubricant on here, but I think I'm going to pass. I don't really believe like there's any real workload done to this that it would require a lubricant. And as you can see when I had to clean it off, you put a grease or a lubricant on there and then the dirt sticks to it. It just creates a gummy mess. So hopefully this will eliminate all the issues we were having. I bought this for the truck, and apparently it doesn't belong to this truck because there's no part like this in my truck. So this is probably for a different year. Cool. All right, so we got this piece. We're gonna go ahead and get it threaded through here so we don't have to worry about doing that later. I think I'm going to have to go down there for this one. I bet GM doesn't have to worry about this. There we go. I can work with that. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so something I just realized. Inside of here, in this channel, I know you probably can't see it, but the little slot that the lock cylinder goes into It has to be in a certain way for it to be flat all the way across, or else this won't go back in. Life ain't nothing but a funny, funny riddle. Thank God I'm a country boy. This is hard. So I want to bring you in close for this. Okay, this is inside where the ignition lock cylinder goes. And you can see at the top of that slotted hole, there's those two little tabs. Those have to be in that position. If those two little tabs are in the wrong spot, the ignition lock cylinder will not be able to go in. So you just got to make sure you get that correctly. I'll show you how it looks on here. You can see, boop, how it's got that little cut part on the top. There. So yeah, that has to be pointed up. The pin is right there, and the pin goes on the bottom. Right there. You can see the hole. And also you got to make sure you got your key in the right spot in order for that pin to go up. So in order for the little gear that's inside of there to line up with this, I think I got to put the key in there and turn it in a certain position where this will slide in and out. So I'm just going to check that right now. So it was taking me a little bit to figure out how to get this piece put back in. But if you look inside of here, you can see if I turn this, there's like a little flat spot there in the little gear that engages it. And you want to have that flat spot up. Then you'll just put this in, and I'll show you how I get it in. I got this piece here. I'll go ahead and attach it to the rod the right way. Okay, I think I've got it on the flat spot. What I had to do, I had to tap on it. There it goes. I'm sure that is absolutely the wrong way to do that. But for me, at least, it seems to work. Just to make sure. So, I think I'm going to disable my little key latch here because all it really seems to do is just get in my way. So I think I'm going to get rid of it. Alright, so I took off this little piece right here. This is this goes behind there, and I guess it's just like an ignition lock, but it's more of a pain in the ass than anything. And I mean, newer vehicles don't have this, so alright, let's see if we can get the rest of this crap put back on. Got a little Billy bearing here, all lubed up and fresh and ready to go. And we got a little hat for him here that we'll put on here too. Now we got to try to put these little screws back in. And there's little slots on the actual metal steering column itself that these little ears stick in that holds this all nice and tight. This one you'll probably kind of have to hold it up a little bit so it actually engages the slot. Now you don't have to Gorilla Grip those on there. It just holds that all nice and tight. So now we're going to take this screw. We're going to put it back right where it was. And we're going to pretend like it's holding in that block that I already lost. Like I said I was going to do. Now, let's get this put on. See if we can get this nasty thing to go back on. There we go. I just wanted to point out, since I lost that little block that was supposed to go here, I went ahead and just took this pin out. All this pin is just your steering lock. So since I don't have the block in here that supports it, I don't really want this to get broke inside of there if I accidentally jerk the wheel or something while the ignition is locked. So I'll take it out and I'll save it for later if I ever do end up finding this block. All right, now we're to the point where it's time to install the steering wheel. All right, so I got the instructions here from Grant, and it lays it out pretty decent step by step what all we got to do. According to these instructions, I might actually have to cut off the end of this shaft right here where this protrudes a little bit. So we'll check that out once we get there. So at this point, we're ready to install our adapter. For my truck, I'm using Grant adapter part number 3249. And basically this here, it's a little kit that comes with everything you should need to install your steering wheel. Now this adapter here says top on it, so that's exactly how we're going to put it on there. So once you got this where you want it to go, put this on there. Ta-da. All right. I think these are temporarily installed just to hold the wheel while we tighten everything up. So you don't really have to tighten these up a whole lot right now. This is just to hold the wheel in place while we tighten it up. Feels a little gritty in there for some reason. Let me take a look at that. So I'm having issues with something rubbing in here. So I took out the plastic ring that was in here. Not sure what I did with it, but I went on ahead and took that out. And I'm going to go ahead and put this sleeve in. The kit says that if you have this, that you shouldn't have to remove it. I'm going to go ahead and remove mine and put that in there to try to keep whatever in there from grinding. You can already see that it's already messed up my ring pretty good here. So we're going to put that on and see if that makes a difference. We're at the point now where we're trying to put the horn mechanism on. And I don't know if you can see that. That's a little bit of a quality control issue there with Grant. The holes don't quite match up. They're a little off. So I'm going to have to open up one or more of these holes in order to get this to fit right. So I'll handle that and I'll be right back. All right, I've got these holes opened up enough now to where I should be able to get this all bolted on. That should be good. Oh no. Got a wire pinched in there. Why didn't you guys tell me about that? There we go. Much more better. Let's try that again. Now I'm supposed to be able to just plug that in. Alright, here's a tip. Don't really put these on there until you've plugged this bottom wire in. I thought I was going to have room, but it looks like I got to do it afterwards. Geez, I might as well just put a zipper on this as many times as I've had it on and off. Let's try this. Finally. Alright, now we're going to try to put the horn button on. Here's the horn button that comes with the kit. There's nothing wrong with it. But I upgraded to this one. I figured it'd be a nice little touch on this old truck. So I still have this nub on here. So I don't know if this is going to work. But we're going to try to go ahead and install all of this on there, and we'll see what happens. On this piece of fiberglass, there's these little notches, 3 notches on there that coincide with 3 notches on the horn button. You just find the ones that are closest to straight up and down, line it up, and push it on there. Once you get them all on there, you just twist, hopefully, and straighten it up. There it is. That's installed. So now I'm going to plug in the wiring, because I still have all the wiring undone for this. And hopefully when I plug it in, the horn doesn't just start blaring. All right, here's the moment of truth. Please don't have a blaring horn. Well, I think it's connected. Oh yeah, blinkers work. That one still works. That one still works. Let's see if I got a horn. Nope, no horn. Well, like I said, that's no worse off than what I was when I started, so I can live with that for now. If I'm really that worried about it, I'll just put another horn button somewhere else for now. One other step that I almost forgot about is pulling this collar back up. See if we can't get it put back to how it was. I'm going to step out of the vehicle for this one so I got a little bit better view. Cool. Now I will say a couple of gripes that I have with this whole kit. The instructions could be a little bit better. I had to stop several times and just kind of study them. They're in black and white. You can tell they've been printed and scanned several times, so it's just not really a clear picture. And I just feel like they could be a little bit clearer. The steering wheel itself, I mean, it's a cheap steering wheel. I've always liked the classic, muscle car look of those, even though this is definitely not a muscle car. I had this exact same steering wheel on a truck in high school, so it kind of just takes me back down memory lane a little bit too. So I know from long-term use, I know this steering wheel, the rubber on here will eventually start kind of degrading a little bit, and it might kind of start to wear off on your fingers a little bit. So I'm aware of that already, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, at least I already know to expect it. The kit does look pretty nice on here. I like this cover that it comes with. I'm sure if I would have painted my factory, whatever the hell this is called, to match, it probably would have looked really nice, but I didn't feel the need to go through all that trouble. One drawback of this being a smaller steering wheel, the top of the rim right here is directly in line with the top of my speedometer here. I can live with it for now. This whole thing was just purely cosmetic. This will not help my truck off-road or drive or anything, but I figure as much time as I spend behind the steering wheel, I might as well enjoy what I'm looking at. The factory one's just, well, I mean, it just looks a little factory. So we'll see how that works. Well, I can't install a steering wheel and not give driving impression of it, so let's go for a little ride. See how it feels. Well, the horn works, but I don't like that. There, I unplugged it. We shouldn't have to worry about that. It's like a sports car now. As far as turning goes, I actually like the way it feels a little bit better than the stock steering wheel. It requires a little bit more force, which I enjoy. I don't think I've got my wheel on straight though. That's all stuff I can fix later. Not really happy with the way that they soldered on the wires on the horn parts that are behind this black piece. So I might have to go in there and fix it. It feels a little crunchy in there. So we'll just have to see how that works. It's better than nothing. It'll work for now. Figured I'd give you guys just a little look what it kind of looks like from outside the vehicle. Don't mind that mess. You get in, hop in right behind your brand new steering wheel, and that's pretty much what I see going down the road. Cool. Let's finish this video. I think I'm going to call it right there. I've pretty much bumbled my way through enough stuff today, and I've got a lot of work to do editing these videos. Hopefully you learned something, and if not, hopefully you were at least entertained watching me pretty much do it all wrong and lose parts. I mean, if you're working on something and you don't have spare parts when you're done, I mean, are you really working on it? I like to think I just made it more efficient. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, you know what to do. Just put it in the comments section, and I'll see it, and I'll respond to it. And we'll talk about all the things that I messed up while I was working on this. I'm not one to beg, but I'm just starting out. Still a relatively new channel. And I could use as many subscribers as I can get. I'd like for this to maybe take off and turn into something. So if I earned your subscription, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. And if you want, you can ring that little bell. All the cliche things that they normally say when they film these videos. Just go ahead and do all those. So if nothing else to work on today, I think I'm going to end it right here. You guys have a great day. All right, Trophy Wife is here with something to drink.
Coffee.
Thank you, Trophy Wife.
Uh-huh. They even put caramel drizzle.
Nice. A nice manly coffee.